Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. The water is not safe, obviously. Jaws. Happy 50th anniversary to this all-time American blockbuster classic. This is the 1975 adventure thriller semi-horror creature feature from director Steven Spielberg, based off the book of the same name by Peter Benchley. The plot: in the blackened sea, the animal attacked. Now a community is struck with a dilemma. Close the beaches and wait for the fish to leave, or keep them open and gamble with people's lives. The mayor makes that decision for them, and more attacks occur. Now, 3 men must head out to face, take down, and bring home the bountiful, the beautiful, 25-foot great white shark.
Back home, we got a taxidermy man. He gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I brought him.
Now, getting into the review, first off, I must say, this is my favorite movie of all time. I am impressed with a multitude of things about this movie, especially about the fact that it took about a year to turn around from book to film. But I guess Universal buying the book rights before the book was even published helps with that. I have reviewed the book. Check it out up here on the screen. There'll be like a little card, and if you don't see it there, then just check in the description below. Needless to say, right off the bat, the movie is much better than the book. The story is simple. Shark attacks beaches, beaches stay open, and then more horror ensues. People have to go take down the shark. It's a simple revenge, adventure, thrilling tale. It's the 20th century Moby Dick, if you get what I'm saying. Something that big, but in a different century. For the characters, we have Chief Martin Brody. He goes through one hell of a journey in this movie. Everything from the town not listening to him, to Mrs. Kittner's child being eaten, and an attack on his own son by the shark. Shark shock, what's the difference? Is he dead?
He's not. He's in shock.
All of it prompts him to face his fears and to go out on the ocean to take down this mighty beast. Man against beast. He is afraid of the sea, and that weakness becomes his strength later on in the film. I love that after everything that happens, after the big climax and the resolution's happening, he's just sitting in the submerged crow's nest, totally content that he just did what he did. And I don't think he's really that afraid of the water anymore. I mean, after seeing what he saw, who could blame him for being kind of scared? He is a bit testy, but that kind of makes his character more identifiable and lovable. He has this charm to him. Right from wrong is what he knows, kind of like my dad. Testy, but knows right from wrong. Kind of wish my dad was Chief Brody when I was a kid. The dreams. Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss from 2010's Piranha, is a snobby rich guy, but he always backs up his attitude, intentionally or unintentionally. He is the one who brings a cage on the boat to hunt and to take down the big fish. And he doesn't chicken out. He's not like, well, I brought this cage along, but I'm not going in there. One of you guys can go in there. I'm kind of freaked out. This shark ain't acting normal.
You ever have one do this before? I don't know.
Undoubtedly, though, he is determined. Even when Quint treats him like his title means nothing when it comes to fishing. He proves himself when correctly tying a sheep shank, much to Quint's dismay. Although he's not going to show it. He'll just toss the damn thing aside, like, yeah, that's nice, and let me see your hands, city boy. Also, their scar comparing scene is notable for them trying to one each other up. It's also notable that they went through stuff in life, and this is what came out of it. What they experienced in sea life. I also love the parts where Brody looks down at his stomach and is like, I got my appendix taken out. And it's not done like a movie would have done it today, where like, I got my appendix taken out one time, guys, it was hilarious. Right? No, he just looks, doesn't say a word because he knows it'd be embarrassing. Compared to the other scars on the boat. Quint, played by Robert Shaw from The Deep, which was also based off a book by Peter Benchley, is the man who survived the Indianapolis. He served in World War II, went down with that boat, and experienced the horrors. He'll never put on a life jacket again. Which is perfectly illustrated during the scene where he is in the cabin, he looks at the life jackets, he reaches up and touches them, and he gives one to Hooper and Brody. He ain't gonna wear one. He's a man of his word. Shaw is actually a British actor, and brought his whole family down onto the set and the hotels while they were filming, but he pulls off the character of a man who has been on the island his whole life, a true fisherman with a rod in one hand and a beer in the other. He's going fishing. No other actor perfects it like he does. The perfect, salty scallywag. He's got his sea legs, that's for sure. Mayor Larry Vaughn, played by Murray Hamilton from the Amityville Horror, is greedy. He wants to take the risk and keep the beaches open. Anything to make a buck. But he is also providing for the town. The town thrives on summer tourism. Especially when there's virtually no risk involved. It's a shark, it's gonna leave, it's not gonna attack again. You see his pained expression after everything goes down. His kids were on that beach too. That line sticks with you. It makes you realize he had sacrificed a lot. And he almost sacrificed his kids too. Ellen Brody, played by Lorraine Gary, is the wife of Martin Brody and the mother of their 2 children. She is supportive and loving. There is a side to her that wants to help more, but she doesn't have too much to add beyond support for her husband. This is further exemplified when they have the dining room table scene where Hooper is there, Brody's there. They're all talking, she's getting overly enthusiastic. She's intrigued, but she's trying to cheer her husband up at the same time.
Martin hates water. Martin sits in his car when we go on the ferry to the mainland. I guess it's a childhood thing. There's a clinical name for it, isn't there?
Drowning.
Needless to say, she's there for people who need her. Another thing I love about this movie is that besides a few pieces of clothing, the film is relatively timeless. The haircuts are not too out there or shaggy. They're 70s, but they're not terribly 70s. They're not like a fashion show. It's like Alien, with a little bit more color. Even the effects work. I'll get into those in a bit, but let's just say the film doesn't feel dated at all, not even 50 years later. This is also the ultimate island community movie. Amity is a fully realized town, with citizens, selectmen, officials, lawmen. It's got everything. And it feels organic. Hell, even some of the committee is on the beach when Alex is killed. It's a fishing community that is neighborly and full of business. Everyone in the film has a place, from the bathers to the beach bums. Some of the committee is even on the beach when Alex is killed. They talk about their business and such, what's going on in their daily lives, before the horror begins.
I know you got a lot of problems downtown, but I've got a couple of problems with the house I wish you could take care of.
One, I've got some cats parking in front of the house. I can't get down to the office.
Everyone has personality. People like Mr. and Mrs. Taft. Mr. Taft somewhat over-exaggerates a lot. When they're looking for the last person to come out of the water, Alex Kittner, he's out there. trying to see, but you don't need to do that. The sun's not that strong. No one else is doing that. It's just like, he's got to be the one to find him. He always has to do something, while Mrs. Taft always has to say something. Her voice and opinion are heard during every discussion and debate.
Are you going to close the beaches?
It makes it feel like nothing was planned and it was all natural. It's not a movie, it's an event. Also, there's a lot of fishing going on, people on boats. It's not just a landlocked adventure. It takes place at sea too, and under the water. I love the fact that so many things that are water related were used. They're not just background set pieces. Docks, buoys, rafts, umbrellas, lifeguard stands, they're all used. It's also like that on Quint's boat. You get to know every little nook and cranny on that thing. Besides, the engine room. I mean, they go down there, but you don't really see it. It's not even really a room, it's just the hull of the boat where the engine is. From the cabin to the crow's nest, the aptly named Orca is a fine watercraft.
You burned out the bearings. All right, stop the boat. Stop the boat. Stop it.
They spend the whole second half of the film on that boat, so you better get to know it. Some shots of land on the horizon are seen when they get closer to shore, but they never fully get back to the shore until the end credits roll. Speaking of the end credits, for those of you who have not seen the film, spoilers, Brody and Hooper can be seen coming ashore, off in the distance, during the end credits, so they did make it back in one piece. Brody is visibly and mentally afraid of the water. He goes into a bit of detail, but not fully. But it's clear as day, especially when Alex Kintner is eaten, and everyone is running into the water to get their children, except him. He's telling people to hurry up and get out, but he is so afraid of the water that he can't go in to save his son. It speaks volumes later on when his son is in shock, and he stares at that sea like, I'm coming for you. Not only the ocean, but the shark. It makes it all the more rewarding that he didn't go in the water at first, because when he does eventually go in it, it brings you joy. It's a joyful experience. I don't think a lot of people give enough credit to Amity Island. It's an island, Martha's Vineyard to be exact, but this feels like it's its own little other island in the world somewhere when it's not even real at all. Hell, I thought Amity was a real place until I was like 10 or 11. I went to Martha's Vineyard last year. Yeah. I'll have a little slideshow at the end, and I hope you enjoy that. Speaking of age, I was 3 when my grandfather showed me this movie. And what I remember him telling me a while ago about my experience with it was that I was like, is he gonna die? Is that person gonna die too? What about them? What about her? Are they gonna die? And when he said that, it did bring back that memory when I looked at someone, a new character came on screen. I was like, is that person gonna die? Are they gonna die now? I was born to make body counts. Death counts, kill counts, chump counts, whatever. Oddly enough, my grandparents' house when I was a kid reminded me of the Brody house in Jaws. From the sunroom to just the knickknacks everywhere. The thing is that it wasn't the same setup. There was no ocean nearby. But there were little things that brought me right back into that world. No other film has done that. It's not a movie. It's an experience. It makes you feel involved every time you watch it. One scene that always stuck with me was when Sean Brody mimics his father's expressions. They're sitting there in the dining room, this beautiful piece of music playing. It's sweet. Also, on Sean Brody for a minute, that scene with him crying after Mike goes into shock was actually supposed to be inserted after Alex Kintner is eaten. It fits better where it is, but continuity-wise, I can see how it was changed. Even then, the music's deep and foreboding. We'll also get into that in a bit. This is going to be a long-ass review. Happy 50th, Jaws. For now, let's focus on another aspect of the film. The cinematography is downright gorgeous. The coloration, warm and welcoming above the water, below, dark and eerie. Something foreboding out there, swimming around. Ever since I was a very young child, I had this fear of jumping in the water at night, turning on my flashlight and seeing something. A shark. Opening its jaws, consuming me whole, me still being alive in the jaws, getting swallowed whole. Shit's terrifying. Thalassophobia is a real phobia that I have. I can't even go into the pool when it's dawn and the sun's not out until someone comes with me. I'm not even kidding. It's that bad. I've tried. I've gone in there alone sometimes, but I'm just like rigid the whole time. Laugh at me all you will. Thanks, Jaws. Another angle that is very terrifying is the idea of what the shark is doing below the ocean to its victim. We don't really see much munching going on, but it's implied. Going down the gullet of this massive beast is a terrifying experience. And a painful one, of course. Segue into the gore and effects? I think so. For the gore, the effects, we get gushing red water, a severed leg, a severed head. I think it might just be a shot of the head, still attached to the body, but I'm not quite sure. A lot of blood floating around in the water. I can't forget that explosion at the end either. Grisly stuff. This film was rated PG. Back then, it actually meant parental guidance. And now it's for kids. Bruce the Shark, named after Spielberg's lawyer, is unrealistic, but the way he is used is effective. When we see him, it's not full-body shots usually. Therefore, we see parts, sections, and each part is disturbing. It doesn't look right, therefore it is unnaturally creepy. I don't like about half the stock footage of sharks they used in this film because they don't match up to the actual animatronic shark they have in the film. There are some shots where it pulls off, like where you can see its tail swimming away from behind or the shark trapped in the cage. Those shots work. Seeing it swim under the cage, like, what are you doing? Well, that shouldn't be there. You don't look anything like your fake counterpart. Thankfully, it's used in mostly darkly lit shots, so it works for most of the film. The mechanical shark was notoriously hard to work with. However, something that's not always mentioned is that if the effects were not rushed, it would have worked a lot better. The studio didn't want them to spend all that time working on the shark. They wanted to get those cameras rolling. So they're to blame, mostly. However, I have also heard that Spielberg was just being a hothead on that part. But a blessing that was actually on the island was the editor of the film. I think her name was Verna. She was there to make sure shots matched and everything worked. It was really good to have her on the island. She was not only a good editor, but she was in the right place at the right time. For the motion picture soundtrack, the one thing I forgot to bring over, I do have the full Entrada CD. Both of them. I think there's two releases, the extended version and the original version. Anyway, I have them. They are stellar pieces of work by John Williams. You want a film that has music that implements pretty much all the genres into one score. Look no further than the Jaws score. We have scary, thrilling, adventurous, action-packed, comedic, and even horror elements added in there for the score in the film. For example, of one that's kind of out there is comedic. Comedic elements are implemented in tracks such as Montage, mainly based on the editing. You think everything's just going to go to shit, and it's going to. But they cut to this happy-go-lucky music when the ferry pulls in and everyone's getting ready to come onto the island for a good 4th of July weekend. My favorite tracks, besides all of them, have to be main title, First Victim, Father and a Son, Ben Gardner's Boat, Out to Sea, Man Against Beast, Quint's Tale, End Title. The end titles always bring me tears of joy. I'm so happy I just got through Jaws again. It's a great score that hits all the right notes, figuratively and literally. The journey is over. Like Brody and Hooper, we can all go home now. Overall, this next to Moby Dick is the ultimate fisherman's tale. We cannot forget how much this movie started and influenced. It coined the term the summer blockbuster based on execution and numbers. We do need a new Jaws, but not in the sense of it being a part of this franchise. Something new, a 21st century fisherman's tale. We need a new sea creature to wow us. It's not just nostalgia talking. This time, it's serious. This is my favorite movie of all time. Long live Jaws. Shout outs to Matt Taylor for taking me on this ultimate Jaws tour on Martha's Vineyard. You've been watching Shark House Entertainment tonight. I've been your host, Brian Gatto. Make sure to like, comment on, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Also hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always, subscribe. 44 minutes? Fuck!